You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my way. So
Holy Spirit,
you
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my way. So
Holy Spirit,
you better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my way. So
Holy Spirit,
you better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Let me make sure this is working. Okay, it's working good. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my show, The Sean Davy Way Show. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. My girl, I love you guys. So, look at all y'all ran up in here. Is it boring today? It's a real dry out here. Y'all ran up in here. Hey. Well, hello. Hello, everyone. I mean, y'all done flew up in here. Oh, my goodness. So, yes. So, the title says, Proof Katt Williams told the truth on Club Shay. Shannon Sharpe, that name is very gay. Okay. Yeah. So, and he exposed this Diddy parties. He absolutely did. That's all I heard. I didn't hear nothing else that Diddy name came up. I was I didn't hear anything else. So, of course, that's what we're going to be getting into first. And Rickey and Tyler Perry, okay? Now, he exposed a lot of people from, and I feel like it's an expose because, I mean, some tea we already knew, but some tea we didn't, right? So, now y'all know Katt Williams, if you don't know. Katt Williams is my favorite comedian. He absolutely is. I adore my favorite living comedian. He absolutely is. I adore Katt Williams. I think that Katt Williams is hilarious. He's been through a lot of ups and downs, and I think that that's what makes him more likable. And no matter what it's like, we're willing to give him like 5,000 chances just because we just like love him. Like, he's just so funny, he's funny. Like, he's really funny. So, and his triumphs, his struggles, I definitely feel it definitely pushes people to view him as like real, if you will. So when you have these other people, a lot of these other comedians that shout out to Sonya for becoming a member. Gone girl. Shout out to Sonya. You have these other comedians and whatnot, and they get, you know, Bollywood, Hollywood, if you will, and then they just change. And Katt Williams, one of those people that hasn't. He's very blunt. He's going to say what he feels and means what he says. He's not going to take anything back. And he's very unapologetic about what he states, and I love that about Katt Williams. He inspired people like me to do what I do. But when it comes to him, you know, turning down a lot of these things when it comes to Hollywood and, you know, Hollyweird and all of that stuff, it's like, you are, Katt, to blame for a lot of things, like when it comes to your life, and we'll get into a piece of that. But I mean, you are. So a lot of these roles and things that you didn't do was because of you, but choice. You know, a lot of these things were choice. And at the same time, it's kind of like you come for certain people as if they had a door they could open for you, but decided to close. No, a lot of those doors you closed, just like during this interview with Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe made sure that Katt got everything out. He did that on purpose because one, he knew it would be a stellar interview. It will go viral. And on top of it going viral, this does not affect Shannon. It affects Katt. So with Katt coming at these people, these bigger heads and whatnot, obviously they're going to feel some type of way. So with them feeling some type of way, why would they want to work with Katt? Why would they? You know, you know. So to me, Shannon gave him a match. He struck it and set the bridges, you know, set those bridges on fire. So again, as proud as people say, like, oh, I'm so proud of Katt, I'm so this, I'm so that. Don't get me wrong, I am too. But at the same time, I want Katt to be successful. I really want him to. And you have a lot of the people that he was naming that can make it so that that doesn't happen. And we already don't get enough of Katt. We only get him in certain places. We get him in small doses. And I think that's unfortunate because he's really, 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 really talented. And a comedian like Katt only comes once in a lifetime. We're not going to get another one. Like, we're not going to get another Richard Pryor. We're not going to get another Bernie Mac. We're not going to get, you know, any of those people. They're gone. You know, we've had them. We got to them, the ones that were living while they were, or, you know, around where they was around. You know, we got to be blessed by them, you know, by their presence and them giving us the gift of laughter and all of that stuff. And then it's like, that's it, you know. So it's the same thing with Katt. Katt is one of those one in a millions, one of those comedians that will go down in history, but his history could be bigger. His history could be bigger, if you will. And I want that for Katt. I want Katt to be huge, you know, because he deserves to be. He does. He's super talented. Like, it takes a lot of work to be a comedian. It takes a lot of work to make the world laugh. Not an audience, not a club, the world, to make them literally laugh. And he can do that still to this day. So, because we don't, a lot of people, how they start is not how they finish. Katt, as how he started, he can still do like that. You know, talent is still in him. A lot of them, it kind of leaves. Like Kevin Hart, when he came out, way funnier than he is now. Same thing with people like Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer. When they first started, they were a lot funnier than they are now. So yeah, so we're going to get into all of that, but I'm also going to show receipts throughout the way of the things that Katt Williams is saying, because what Katt Williams is saying is fact. You just have a lot of arrogant, narcissist people like Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Rickey, Smiley, you know, a lot of those people that don't want to face the funk. Any mistake they may have made, or when they may have closed a door for someone or tried to take a bag from someone, they don't want that information out there. They don't want that out there. Kevin Hart doesn't want it on a loudspeaker that he is a plant, meaning like, his career was planned out for him before he even fully came in, because at that time, when Kevin came in, they were looking for a Katt replacement because Katt had so much stuff going on. Katt was in and out of rehabs and stuff, and the tours, missing half the shows, and he was huge at this time, Katt Williams. And he was dropping the ball. He was doing a lot of things to drop the ball. Now, he was doing a lot of things to be successful, but he was also his own worst enemy at that time. And a lot of people come into the industry like that. You kind of excel overnight. So you've been around for a little bit, then all of a sudden you have your moment. And then just overnight, you're a success. So that means whatever you were doing, you were already doing it. You know, like Whitney Houston and people like that suffer from certain things. You're already doing those things. So if anything, you've just been given more money and people around you to enable you to do said things as long as they're getting what they need to get out of the deal. So yeah, he was definitely dropping the ball when he first came out. So they were definitely, the industry was looking for someone to replace him. They needed a yes man. And Kevin, someone that was up and coming, they kind of was like, okay, him, you know, let's him. That's why he came in like, and just, you look up Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart. You know, so they definitely were looking for a replacement. They needed somebody funny, and they needed them to be not Katt, because again, everybody's an individual. Everyone's unique. So you're not going to find the same quality, but you can find somebody funny enough to make you forget other individuals. So yeah, so, you know, shout out to Katt Williams, you know, and whatnot, because we love him. Like, Katt is amazing. But I think that the whole story needs to be told and not just part of it. Katt was never on drugs. Girl, you are out of your rabbit. Who told you that? Who told you that? Girl, I love Katt Williams down, but I mean, let's be real. Whitney Houston was the same person famous on camera for saying I never smoked crickets. So, I mean, maybe he don't want to say it, or, I mean, but girl, please. Okay. Go with that. I'm completely fine with y'all going with that. Completely fine with it. He was fighting minors. Like, I was like, it was a lot going on with Katt. It was a lot going on with Katt. So shout out to Katt and his life. Okay. I can tell the man his life. Absolutely cannot. But due to ex-managers and stuff like that, if you actually go do your homework, Katt might not have said it, but other people around him was. No different than people like Whitney and other people that they may deny certain things. And Katt's entitled to that. It's his life. But no, you going around literally fighting teenage boys and what, girl, shout out to Katt Williams. I love Katt down, and I don't feel like it defines him. I really don't. I don't feel that it takes from his talent. Yeah, I don't feel like it takes from his talent. I'm not saying what he did or anything like that. I said that there were certain things that Katt was allegedly suffering with and from, you know. That's it. And it doesn't define him to me. He is still extremely talented. So I don't care nothing about it. He seems to be doing his thing, clean and sober, all of that stuff. That's all that matters to me. Nothing else. I don't care about that. I'm not going to fight with that man about his life. It's his life. You know, if he says no, hey, no. But from what the people around him said, yes. So it is what it is. So here, Flip, just saying. But moving right along. That's all that matters to me. But let's pull up Katt talking about Diddy, and then we're just gonna jump in through the timeline of people that he was talking about. We're just gonna kind of go through the timeline, and I'm gonna show you receipts about what Katt was saying along the way, because he's not lying. Katt is telling the truth about everything he said in the interview. I get people may not like it, but it don't mean it's not true. So let's get into Diddy. Shout out to the top.
4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get you another one.
Thank you.
Diddy, you're still gay. Shout out to Tia for gifting membership. Diddy, you are still gay. The jury is still saying yes, 50 million. Y'all see what it says? Katt Williams on Diddy allegations. I've turned down 50 million to protect my hole. Cause P. Diddy be wanting a party, and you got to tell him no. So what Katt's saying, you got to tell him no. He mean exactly what he's saying, that you got to tell him no, girl. Listen to that no.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being
Katt, man.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no.
Now, Katt said that very aggressively. And I feel the reason why Katt said that aggressively is because when he said, he ain't putting you got to protect your whole Diddy, and that you got to tell no. He not saying that for no reason like that, and my girl. Diddy, you are a butt pirate. Okay? That is what that were. That is what that were. You like to play in the booty. Okay? So Katt said, look at here. Take that little piece of 50 million, okay? Because I don't get down like that. I am a boy Damon, okay? How many times do Katt got to say I'm a boy Damon, okay? He don't want none of you, okay? Diddy, you're still giving young man, okay? That is still happening, okay? It's still happening that you own a YMCA, okay? That's what that word you're opponent. So everybody say this about you, Diddy, and this ain't nothing new. Now, Katt did a stand-up back in the day about you being extremely gay. Okay, about you being extremely aggressively gay. Professor Ogilvy, you too. All of y'all was real gay together. Girl. And Katt said, look, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So Katt, he just don't get down like that. Like, he absolutely does not. And Diddy, you licking your lips and all of that, talk about some come party and stuff like that. Very gay. I'm like, why do you feel so comfortable saying let's go party with men? Like, stop saying that to men, queer. I'm like, that is mad weird. That is mad weird. So he like, you gotta tell him no, okay? No means no. All right. You gotta go get some pliers and all of that. Or like he actually have to do Damon. So here did it. You're gay as, according to Hollywood, you are gay. Open the door. Come on out, buddy. Because it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap for you. It's literally a wrap for you. Like, you got so bored with X that you have to have like human X dolls and stuff like that. And my girl, you got that bored with it to where you start playing Barbie dolls with people. Why is y'all playing Barbie dolls with people? Why is y'all doing that? Y'all picking a color and everything. Gross. So, yeah, shout out to Katt for coming forward and letting us know that Diddy is very gay. Like, Diddy is gay. And he'll throw all type of money all around and make it look all beautiful and wonderful. And then you look up and I'm a girl and your body going like this. As a man. So he said, you ain't got time for that. So yeah, you're gay, go away. All right. You're gay, go away. That's just what that word. Now let's move on into the actual interview. Now, shout out to Club Shay. This was a great interview. It absolutely was. This was a great setup. I loved how Club Shay set Katt up like this, and I'm a girl. Yes, Shannon Sharpe did his thing, setting up Katt Williams. See, that's what that word. He absolutely did. So it says a list of comedians Katt Williams threw under the bus on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. The legendary comedian took headshots at several of his big name peers, including Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin Hart, Earthquake, Steve Harvey, and more. Katt Williams became a living comedy legend as well as one of the most controversial comedians in history. In part because of his scorched earth honesty. But he outdid himself on the newest episode of Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast, which dropped Wednesday. The interview has gone viral thanks to Williams firing howitzer caliber shells at some of the most famous working comedians. The first 35 minutes of the 2 hour and 46 minutes interview, and the longest Club Shay is the longest in Club Shay history, are the juiciest, but Williams keeps up his attacks throughout the entire interview. Sharpe strategically let Williams get his ish off, defending his friends from Wilson's venom when necessary, but giving him the space to say everything he wanted. So, and I agree. I would agree. And I did. I watched the whole interview. I would agree that Shannon absolutely did that. He super set him up. Now, he would say certain things so that he could, let certain people know, like, look, I still like y'all. This ain't me. It's him. Type of situation. He definitely did do that, but Katt's going to say what he wants to say. You can't blame Shannon on what Katt said. That is Katt. It's his experience. So shout out to Sonia for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. So please thank her. She gifted you a membership. Please thank Sonia. So quietly containing the excitement of knowing that viral gold was unfolding. Okay. Williams came for what felt like 9/10 of Black entertainment. From Diddy to Tiffany Haddish to Martin Lawrence, even Sharpe caught a round or two of on his own show. You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you. Who Katt? I said, ooh, not an alliance to losers, a girl. I would so say that. So and what he mean by that, because people like Cedric the Entertainer and so many other people that he's talking about have all been on Club Shay. And so he's sitting there like, you having such an allegiance to these and losers blows me. It's basically what like what Katt is saying, Katt's like, they're all losers. So like I would totally say that. I would totally say, I'm like, Katt, this is why we love you. So Smiley and Perry, okay? Here are some of the comedians that are licking their wounds after the explosive interview. Rickey, Smiley, and Tyler Perry. Smiley was the very first in Williams' crosshairs following Sharpe's introduction. The comedian responded to Smiley's claims on an earlier Club Shay episode that the roles comedians played in 2002's Friday After Next were supposed to be reversed. Okay. So on Shannon's show, Rickey Smiley said that he and Katt Williams' roles are supposed to be reversed in Friday After Next. Now, in Friday After Next, Katt Williams played Money Mike, and then Rickey Smiley played the Santa Claus, the one that robbed Craig and Day Day. And that's what they were. Now, Rickey allegedly said on his show, when he was on the podcast, that the roles are supposed to be reversed. He was supposed to play Money Mike, and Katt was supposed to play the Santa Claus. Okay. So Katt, of course, made sure that he responded to that. So Smiley was the very first in Williams' crosshairs following that. Do we ever read that? Yeah. Williams disagreed vehemently and took the opportunity to shoot deuces on Smiley's entire career. He also made the banana claim that he placed a clause in his contract that he only worked with Smiley again if he was wearing a dress. Katt's quote. Now, what was Rickey Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. God. Oh, God. Williams said, it's in my contract. That's where he's a believable actor. This was not nice. Katt, this was dirty. This was dirty, but so true. Oh my God, this was dirty, but so true. So true. So true, though. And I'm about to prove it. And so, oh God. So, okay. He said, like the little leprechaun he is, he said, it said my contract. That's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man the same day life. Okay. So he said that Rickey and Tyler is girls. Rickey and Tyler, let me tell you like this. Okay? He said, y'all some bitches. Y'all play good bitches. Okay? So that's what that word. That's what that word. Now let's get into it. Hold on. Tyler. Tyler, wait a minute. Tyler, before you try to get upset, Tyler Perry, I'm gonna need you to remember some things about your life. I'm gonna need you to remember some things about your life. Tyler, you remember this? Tyler Perry says he's done with Madea. A lot of people already were. October 31st, 2018. So Tyler, do you remember in 2018 when you retired Madea? Do you remember that? You remember that? You remember that. So you retired Madea, right? And let's get into why. Tyler Perry says he's retiring Madea, the feisty, foul-mouthed grandma who launched his career and made him millions. The Southern matriarch, long played by Perry in a gray wig, pearls, and women's clothing, will meet her end in 2019. The actor and filmmaker told Sirius XM radio host Bevy Smith on her show, Bevelations, Perry 49 joked that it was time for him to KILL that old lady, using colorful words Madea might use to describe his signature character. He says, I'm tired, man. Perry said, I just don't want to be her age playing her. Perry isn't the only one who was tired of Madea. The character's who Monica is short for her mother dear and undoubtedly Perry's most famous, but Madea, with her crude language and penchant for physical attacks, has long drawn criticisms for perpetuating damaging stereotypes of African Americans. Okay, so Tyler Perry had ended in Madea. He was tired of her. He said, look, it's over with. Okay, and then he tried to do movies like Alex Cross and all of that stuff and be a boy. And wasn't nobody buying it. It wasn't nobody buying it. Don't nobody want to see Tyler as no man. Okay, when you play certain roles, you get stuck in those roles. Okay, Jaleel will always be Urkel. It doesn't matter where he goes. It doesn't matter the work that he did before or anything like that. All that matters is that you played Steve Urkel. You have Martin, which thank God he was playing him, because that's one of the biggest things he's known for. After Martin, after everything he did on the Bad Boys movies, Big Mama was whom he was known for. Okay, that's just what that word. They didn't have to be a Big Mama's 2 or 3 or none of that. Big Mama was fine. Just like it was. Just leave it alone, move on. The second and third movies were not needed at all whatsoever. It was just a company that wanted to make a ton of money off of people like Martin Lawrence, because it was funny to see this black guy dress up as a black woman being stereotypical to make people laugh. Although you can find a woman to place that role, but again, they feel like it's funnier when a man does it. No different than with Medea. So it's the same thing with Tyler. Tyler, you tried to go forward and play male roles like Alex Cross and, stuff like that to get yourself out of the whole Medea, man in a dress type of situation. So that's who you wouldn't be known for. You wanted to be known as Tyler Girl. And the people said no, because they were not supporting anything that you were doing as Tyler. But the biggest support came from when you played Medea. So that was your best role. You are better suited as playing a woman, because let's not forget, Tyler, you're not an actor. You didn't go to school, for anything like that. You didn't study, none of those things. It kind of just popped up and you became this later on in life. And you always travel back where you come from. Tyler Perry explains why he's bringing back Medea for Netflix movie after retiring the character. Nobody's getting the chance to belly laugh anymore. I thought you were tired of playing her and you didn't want to be her. You didn't want to be her age playing her. You there? Are you basically there? You bring her back, your Ella in 2019, just to bring her back, what, in 2022? That was quick. She almost came back as quick as Jesus. I'm like, oh, it's weird. But here comes Medea. Here comes Medea. You brought her back quick. Yeah, you went out here trying to be a boy, Damon. No one's signing up for that. No one signed up for that, girl. We came over here to see you in a dress. So that's what that were. So where's the lie when Katt Williams says that Tyler Perry can't play a man to save his life? He can't. A recurring role as a male, that's why in all of his sitcom shows and stuff like that, he has to place other men as the fathers and stuff, and what you kind of have to, Tyler, like, no disrespect, because that's not what the people are signing up for. We would rather see Mr. Payne, Alan. We'd rather see him, play the father, and stuff that stuff makes sense. You playing the father and stuff like that, like even when you played the father in movies of the Tyler Perry movies, it still didn't hit. It still didn't register. You can't be the leading man in the films and stuff because people are used to seeing you in a dress. So if you're not playing your signature role, if you're not coming here to be Urkel, and you have your own production company, so it was smart to bring Medea back, because you should have never gotten rid of her. She should have never left. But the thing about it is that y'all get so Hollywood and y'all forget the formula. The formula and what made Medea so funny is that she was so raw. That's what made the character funny. And then you start putting Medea in movies. Now I get that everything Medea was saying in the plays, that's why the plays are 10 times funnier than the movies. And the crazy part about the plays being better than the movies, Tyler, is that the quality of the plays were terrible. The wigs were horrible. The outfits, a lot of them was too big. But we didn't even care about any of that. The voices were incredible. The acting subpar, but still gave what it was supposed to give. For amateurs, they did a very good job. And then they started to get washed up, after a while, because you lost the signature, because you became Hollywood, to where you were so focused on other things that the actual talent is gone. Now it's just kind of like you throwing these movies together. Medea barely in it. When she is in it, she's not really funny. Like, we really don't get the punchlines and stuff we get in the plays. And the movies didn't really make sense. It's like people supported the movies because of the plays. When the plays stopped, it's kind of when people stopped supporting the movies, because it started to not make sense. Even the movies, like multiple play storylines was all bashed into one, but we let you rock. We let you rock. Because I be like, girl, why does say Diary of a Mad Black Woman, but we watching I Could Do Bad All By Myself play, girl? Now, because this what happened and I Could Do All Bad By Myself. And this movie, now, girl, this happened in Madea Goes to Jail, girl. Tyler, this wrong. Tyler, you know you don't put 4 of these plays in this movie, right? So, and we let him slide, you know, just because we wanted to support him, you know, but he didn't know what he was doing. Like, he really didn't. So, I mean, and my girl, that's why he got 50 shows now. Because it's just keep going till we get some hits. Hit them in, so let's put out 30 shows. You know, push them all around. Let's buy BT. Girl. We're doing 56 shows now. So, yeah. So I would have to agree with Katt. When Katt says that, you know, Tyler Perry and people like Rickey Smiley, that they play better roles as women. I would say that. But let's get into what Rickey Smiley had to say about Katt Williams stating that, where is that? I think it's right here. That the roles were supposed to be switched. So Rickey Smiley on Katt Williams' comments, okay, on the Shannon Sharpe show, he said, I had no reason to lie. Katt Williams on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast on Wednesday criticized Rickey Smiley for comments he made about the Friday After Next, the comedy sequel the two appeared in with Ice Cube in 2000. Williams, who made his film debut in the movie, said Smiley was wrong for telling Sharpe their roles in the film were originally supposed to be reversed. Ultimately, Williams was Money Mike and Smiley was Santa Claus. His quote, this man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was going to be Money Mike and Katt Williams was going to be Santa Claus, Williams said, according to a report in US Today. We auditioned in Los Angeles. I was auditioned 201. 200 Black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already half the role and already shot the role in 4 days? On the Rickey Smiley Morning Show on Thursday, Smiley told his radio audience he was originally meant to be Money Mike, but in hindsight thinks Williams was the better choice. Smiley said, his quote, I have no reason to lie about that, Smiley said. They added the whole pimp twist to the character, which was actually a better decision and made it funnier. Smiley said of Williams' casting as Money Mike. There was no way in hell I could have executed a role like that, and I'm glad that they made that decision. So, you know, I guess he's trying to be nice. What you being nice for? No, cuss him out. I had no reason to lie about that, Smiley said. They added the whole, okay, right there. Personally, I like the pimp role better, Smiley said. But the Santa Claus role was just perfect for me. Williams also told Sharpe he had a clause placed in his contract that he would only work with Smiley if he was wearing a dress in his roles. Smiley has frequently portrayed Bernice Jenkins, a comic bit where he plays a grandmother, often while reading announcements. The role originated with prank calls on 95.7 Jams, Smiley said. Which is true. So, and he played that role for a very long time. So that's what Katt Williams was referring to when he said that Tyler Perry and Rickey Smiley play better roles as women. So, but I liked Rickey Smiley when he played Lil Daryl. I thought Rickey Smiley was funny as Lil Daryl. That was funny. My name Lil Daryl. That was funny. I liked that. That was funny. But he did play that role for a long time, and people really liked that character of him. So that's true. Like, you played a female role very well. So where's the lie? You know, Katt is telling the truth. Your bigger role is you being a woman, like, you know, portraying a woman. Like, let's keep it real. So now, what was Rickey Smiley's next movie? Okay, sorry, I read that. So let's get into this. Well, Rickey Smiley, ain't it on here? Did I pass? Oh, yeah, it's right here. So Rickey Smiley is the first to respond to Katt Williams. So he did this on his show. So let's listen. Rickey also pulls in his manager at the time to verify what happened at that time as well. So we're going to listen to that. We absolutely are.
And it's on Shannon Sharpe's show about when I was on Shannon Sharpe was telling some of the behind the scenes from Friday After Next. Let's start with that. When I went out there, let's just go back. In 2000, I was the host of BET Comic View and in the season 2004. I also worked on this show called Live from LA. That was my first job with BET. And that's where I met Ice Cube, if I'm not mistaken. And Ice Cube was like, man, hey, man, I like your work. I want to do some stuff with you. I want to put you in some movies. And Ice Cube started putting me in movies, which really helped my career. I was in All About the Benjamins, of course, when they changed the ending of it, that part didn't make any sense. But then he put me in Friday After Next. And just for clarification, I went out to audition for Friday After Next as Money Mike, not the Santa Claus. And that is the honest God truth. I had no reason to go on there and to go on Shannon Sharpe's show and lie about any of that. That's what I auditioned for, was Money Mike. And I guess the producers, Cube and everybody saw something different. And I think that Money Mike character, Special K, was going to come off as kind of like
just a guy who was hanging around in the strip mall who was just kind of being annoying and almost like a crackhead type of character that was
right.
Just,
so I guess when Katt Williams did it, they added the whole pimp twist to that character, which was actually a better decision and made it funnier.
Okay, Rickey. Again, where is the lie? Where's the lie? You were supposed to play a crackhead. So you didn't audition to be Money Mike. You didn't. You auditioned to play a crackhead. So Katt's telling the truth. Katt's like, no, you didn't audition for my role. You may have auditioned, but it wasn't for what I was doing. Oh, no. And the reason that is because when they chose Katt, because of Katt's audition, they changed the character. So Katt didn't come in there playing no crackhead. Katt came in there on some pimp, like type swag. That's why they changed it. Because they're like, you know what? This whole thing works. This is hilarious. Yeah, this whole thing worked. Yeah, we'll just change the whole character. Like, yeah, we'll just, because Katt couldn't get himself to come in there and play no crackhead. But you could. So if he came in there playing a role like this whole thing working, kind of like, look, I don't want to be no crackhead. I'll be a pimp. Can y'all change to a pimp? And they're like, yeah, cool. So they was willing to do all of that because of how talented he was. So that means he came in and took the role. Like you, no, you were supposed to be Crack Santa, and that's who you were. You wasn't supposed to be me. I wasn't supposed to be no crackhead Santa, and nothing like that. No, that was all you, player. That I didn't come in there like this. I didn't come in there like Pookie. You did. So yeah. So that's all. They just changed the role because Katt probably felt like, look, I don't really want to be portrayed like that. Can we do it like this? Ice Cube, I'm sure he was like, cool. I'm sure he ain't had a problem with it. No different than Chris. No different than Chris, because he used to get on my nerves too. Now I understand because he didn't want to be looked at as no, addict. Chris Tucker. He don't want to be looked at as an addict or whatever, or green, because weed, because that's all it was. So that's why he didn't want to be in the following Fridays, and whatnot. And that's how Mike Epps and other people ended up coming into the picture. If Katt Williams didn't want to play a kid and they changed the role for him, I feel like they would have did the same thing for Chris Tucker. So Chris Tucker trying to make it seem as I'm like, no, there was other reasons because it wouldn't have been a problem to write that part out for you. Like they would have changed it. How successful Friday was, I think they would have been willing to bend some things to make it so. But because we really liked him as Smokey, he was really good as that character. No, and I shout out to Ice Cube for doing the smart thing and going with a whole nother character versus to trying to make a Smokey too. You know, like no, just 86 the character. Like, so I'm glad that he did that. That was a good look. So let's keep going. Rush Hour was very successful, but it would not have been successful without Jackie Chan. Let's not. A lot of funny, memorable moments are a cohesive partnership between the two. Jackie Chan couldn't do Rush Hour without Chris Tucker, and Chris Tucker couldn't do Rush Hour without Jackie Chan. That's a partnership deal because there's no Rush Hour movie with just Chris Tucker, and that's why people fell in love with it. No, it's not like this is like a Money Talks, you know, or like something like that. No, that was a partnership, a collaboration to make those movies funny. So that those are not Chris Tucker movies, those are Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan movies, or Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. you couldn't do it. Like they could have got rid of Jackie Chan and brought in somebody like Jet Li. It wouldn't have been the same energy. The Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, you could tell they have a friendship on and off screen, which helps you be able to display on camera. So yeah, that was a cohesive thing. I wouldn't say that, you know, yeah, it was a great match. I wouldn't say that that's a Chris Tucker thing. I think that's a duo. Like Bad Boys, it's not a Martin Lawrence thing or a Will thing. It's a both of them. You need both parties in order to make this work type of situation. So yeah. So let's keep going. Let's keep listening to what Rickey had to say.
Yeah, because ain't no way in the hell I could have executed that role like that. And I'm glad that they made that decision and they put me in a Santa Claus role, which was actually perfect. So when I got back to LA, they said, hey, your role has changed. You're going to be the Santa Claus. And here's the Santa Claus suit. Put it on, and here's your lines. Sat in the trailer, went over the lines, went over my stuff with Cube, and the rest is history. Had no reason. I just want to clarify that. Had no reason to lie about that. As a matter of fact, my manager at the time, Gary Abdo, who is still one of my best friends, who also helped start my career.
So again, you didn't have the role if other people were auditioning for it. Rickey, that doesn't make sense. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Over 1,800 people in the building. Please hit the like. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes on the live, please. Hitting the like button is free. So again, you didn't have the role if they were still auditioning people. That doesn't make sense. So that's what Katt's saying. Katt's not lying. If you said that you had that role, that's a lie. If people were still auditioning for it. If I have a role, nobody else is auditioning for it. It's mine. It belongs to me. Auditions are closed. So how you get back and say, they call you, your role has changed. No. The character you about to play now has changed, meaning you didn't get the role as Money Mike. But they do have a role for Santa, and they said you can play it. Did nobody else play the Santa role but you? No one. No one's arguing over who was supposed to play Santa. It was supposed to be you. Because that was a role that they threw in there. Money Mike was not. The idea was the idea they threw in there, but when the more so Katt wanting it to be a pimp versus a kid. But Katt got that role, not you. It wasn't your role. Because Katt auditioned and got it along with over 200 other people. So 201 people auditioned for a role you had. What? And how did you film set role? Like Katt saying, one within 4 days. And then two, the character wasn't even finalized because Katt changed it. So either way it goes, you never had the role of Money Mike. You never had that role. It didn't belong to you. I don't know if your manager that you about to talk to, if he was lying to you at the time, but yeah. I don't get it. I don't get that. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to make that make sense, son of my girl. But yeah, let's keep listening. I'm like, yeah, Katt's still telling the truth, but okay.
And he's the owner of the Atlanta Comedy Theater in Atlanta. We got him on the phone. Just to clarify, Gary Abdo, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good, man. Just for clarification, you was my manager at the time. We went to LA together for the audition. Cube wanted to see us. What is your version?
Yeah, well, we're old, and that was 23 years ago. So, our memories are what our memories are. You went out, you auditioned, they wanted you to play Money Mike. That was the sides that they had sent. The sides are the portion of the script for the part they want you to play. Those were the sides they sent. That was the audition you did. They said, great, we want you to play this role. My recollection is you had to go back and read for the execs from the studio one final time. And the night before that, we got different sides and they said, no, we want you to play this role. And we didn't understand it. We really were under the impression, well, you had the role as Money Mike, but then all of a sudden they switched it up. Now we understand why. Katt came in, blew them away. He's an incredible performer. That was probably one of the most iconic breakout parts in movie history. I mean, that was literally Katt. That was literally.
Yeah, we don't want to hear nothing about nothing being iconic. So he didn't have the role. Here's the thing. So I'm putting it like this. So say what this manager, ex-manager, because he's an ex-manager for a reason. So say this ex-manager did, the role was Rickey's, allegedly. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. So the role was allegedly his, right? Apparently, Rickey, you're trash because they were doing auditions for that role. So say they did give it to you. They don't want you to play it because they went did auditions and they auditioned 201 men to 201 different black men to replace you. So you never had the role. Like it don't give that. Because what did you wouldn't have gotten replaced for a role that you had. So say somebody came through and did a better reading than Mike Epps, right? Mike Epps' role is not even up for discussion. It's not even up for discussion. So no one's going to come in there reading the lines that Mike Epps is going to have because the role is already his. It belongs to him. So if they were doing auditions and people were 201 people were doing Day-Day's lines, then that means that they want to replace him. What are they doing auditions for somebody that they already have for? Why would they be auditioning people to replace you? Because that's what it's giving. Because that doesn't make sense. I'm not saying this did happen. This is what they're saying. The manager at the time was saying that he had the role, and then overnight, pretty much, they call what? Like that means that Ice Cube and the producers and the director of the movie did not feel comfortable or confident having, because Money Mike was a longer role throughout the movie and Friday After Next. If you think about the movie Friday After Next, Money Mike went throughout the movie, so that's a bigger role in that movie. So you have to carry. So a person that's going to play that role has to be able to carry. Like in Next Friday, I forgot the actor's name, but the guy that played Pinky. Pinky was throughout the movie in Next Friday. So the person is going to have to be funny enough to be able to carry And the person that they picked up, I forgot his name right now, but he's a great actor, and he did a great job playing Pinky. And Pinky had some lines, you know, throughout the, just like AJ Johnson did a wonderful job being Ezell. You know, when Ezell was throughout the movie, you know, so it's like you got to be able to handle it. Shout out to Clifton Powell. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Yes, loved him. He did a great job as Pinky. Hilarious. And you wouldn't even like necessarily look to him as that type of actor to be able to come forward and be that funny playing that role. It's kind of like, because some people are stapled, like John Witherspoon, God rest his soul. Oh my God, I love John Witherspoon. Oh my God, it still makes me sad. Just even thinking about him not being here anymore. I get so sad. Oh, Clifton Davis, they said y'all tried. No, Clifton did not die. No, I'm talking about John Witherspoon. He's a staple character. So nobody was like doing his lines or anything like that because they weren't replacing him. He was fine. It gives, you may have gotten replaced. I don't know. And your manager didn't tell you. Hey, they don't feel confident with you playing this role. They're doing auditions right now because it's a manager's job to know about auditions. How, as a manager, do you not know that there's someone auditioning for your client's role? How do you not know that? How do you not, just like you get your client the audition, that means that audition, you should be getting that notification for that audition for your client, because that's a role that your client will be playing, but he already is supposed to have it. So how would you not know? I think the manager did know and just, you know, dropped the ball, you know, is what it gives. You never had the role, and he didn't tell you that you had the role, didn't have the role, or that there were people auditioning for the role that you thought you had secured. If there's miscommunication, it's between him and his manager. That don't have nothing to do with Katt. Like Katt said, that was my role. And I agree with him.
Katt's first movie. You know, Friday was not Chris Tucker's first movie. Next Friday was not Mike Epps' first movie. For that to have been Katt Williams' first movie, and he exploded. I mean, that literally made him an iconic touring comedian, one of the biggest to do it in this generation. And, you know, the rest, as they say, was history. But yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, you were auditioning for Money Mike. We were told you had the role, and then that switched up overnight.
And I'm glad I ended up being the Santa Claus, because that role was iconic and not as funny as his. I like the pimp. I personally like the pimp better, but the Santa Claus role was just perfect for me. At the time, I was skinny and could run fast, so
and you could squeeze over that gate. So yeah, that
right.
was the.
I just wanted to clarify that, and then there was no contract ever that. In agreement with the first Sunday movie, because that was a whole different production directed by who just directed my Netflix special, David E. Talbert, about me playing Bernice Jenkins. That's something that David called me personally. David and Lynn are fans and have been fans of my work for a long time. And it was like, we want you to play Bernice Jenkins, and like, we want
you. Rickey, you can't be that gullible, right? You can't be that gullible. Do you really think Hollywood works like that? Okay, let's start with your Santa Claus character not being iconic. It was not. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't iconic at all. Like it's literally a forgettable role. It really is. We're only Katt breathed life into. Other than that, a lot of people didn't even know you played it or forgot you played that. We're like, no one cares. And then again, in the movie overall, like you had your face covered. You know, and how was that iconic? I'm like, you had your face covered at the majority of your scenes. Like, we didn't even know it was you until like towards the end of the movie. So, and you only had like each one of your scenes was like what, maybe 11 seconds long and whatnot. No, I wouldn't say iconic. Money Mike, iconic. People dress up as that character as Halloween. So it was referred to as in other movies and sitcoms and that's iconic. Yeah. Smokey, iconic. Debo, iconic. You know, those, you know, Pops, iconic. You know, those are iconic roles. not playing the Santa Claus. Now, I'm glad you felt like that was a good role for you, because it was. I mean, whatever. You're subpar. So, yeah, but yeah. And then for you to say that the contracts, you've never seen one of Katt Williams' contracts, so you don't know what is in his contract. So for you to feel so gullible to think that these Hollywood executives and whatnot and producers and whatnot aren't, these companies aren't partnered and aren't friends, have silent deals with each other, silent partners, they're going to make sure their client gets what they want. So you best believe, if Katt Williams said that he wanted to see you in a dress at the time within his success, and your very next movie, you were in a dress, and you feel that because it was different production companies and whatnot, that had nothing to do with nothing, you're out of your rabbit. You're out of your rabbit. If Katt's contract is being dropped on the production's table and you are in this movie, because why you think Katt took the role for First Sunday? It gives he took that role so you could be in a dress. And let's not forget the other parties that were in First Sunday. Wasn't Ice Cube in that movie? Wasn't Ice Cube in First Sunday? Wasn't Ice Cube in that? Ice Cube, Tracy Morgan, Katt Williams, Rickey Smiley. Okay. Katt said in his contract, the next time he worked with, and the last person Katt had worked with within that moment of time that him and Rickey had worked with was Ice Cube. And now Ice Cube is in this movie First Sunday, and it just so happens that Katt Williams is too, and Rickey Smiley, who he had just got done working with both people, and Rickey in a dress. Rickey, are you that gullible? Okay. I guess. If you feel like that was just your character, okay. Okay. If that's how you feel, we'll let you. That's how you get to sleep. If that's what make you, we'll let you have it. But no. Over 2,000 people in the building. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. So, girl, now, Rickey, you may have thought that was your idea, but it wasn't, player. It absolutely was not. So, let's keep listening. I'm like, wow, is he really that simple-minded?
You know, and here you go. And that's what happened. And I went out there and shot that in one day, me and Red Grant. And that was a lot of fun. Right. And it had nothing to do with Katt Williams' contract or whatever. So I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I respect Katt. Definitely disappointed that you have to get on the air and explain something like this. But you know, that's the truth, and I don't know what else to say. So there it is.
There's not much else to say. You know, it's indisputable that Katt played that role, killed it, built an entire career out of that one role that all of us look at and go, wow, that's absolutely amazing. But it's also indisputable. You were auditioning for Money Mike. We were told you had the role. You just had to read one more time, and then that switched up.
And the crazy thing about it is we had a conversation when it came out. He said a lot of this 12 years ago, and we had a conversation because I was on 14th Street in Atlanta, right by the Four Seasons Hotel, and I was driving down the street with my granddad in the car, and I saw Katt Williams going across the street on 14th Street, and I said, Katt, what's up? Whatever. I just wanted to make sure we was good. He said, come over and have a cup of coffee with me, because he was walking over to Starbucks. And I went over and he went in there and got the coffee. We was chopping it up or whatever. Just didn't even really talk about the issue or whatever. I said, hey man, I want you to come out and say hello to my granddad. My granddad is a fan. He came out to the truck. I'll never forget, I was in my Ford F-150 and I came out and spoke to my granddad. He hugged my granddad and wished him well. My granddad was like, keep doing what you're doing, young man. My granddad was living at the time. It was just me and my granddaddy in the truck. And we dapped it up, and that was it. I mean, that was it. And I thought that we were good. I didn't know that we had any issues. And if there are any issues or if there's anything that I've done, not only to Katt Williams, to anybody, I apologize, and I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, but I did. I you know, that's just the honest to God truth. And I did audition for what I auditioned for.
I really don't get this energy. Not that I expect him to be attacking him. Everybody responds differently. I mean, it is what it is. What it gives like guilt, like, because Katt does not feel the same, and you know that there's a problem. Why would you not? Why would you think there wasn't a problem? Why wouldn't you think that? There's people that I don't like, that I have problems with, but if business-wise, if it's that, I don't mind being cordial. So again, you said you spoke to Katt. You saw Katt, and you're like, hey, what is he supposed to run across the street and drop kick you? You're like, oh, hey, I'm about to get some coffee. You know, Katt didn't buy it. Katt didn't say, hey, Rickey, come have some coffee with me. That's not what that word. As far as I could tell, you wanted Katt's energy. You wanted to be around Katt. Katt wasn't feeling you. You had to acknowledge him. He didn't acknowledge you. If it was up to Katt, I feel like he would just keep on walking. Keep on walking. So yeah, it gives clock chase. Is definitely what it gives. But moving right along. So this is one of the first disgruntled people that has come forward ever since Katt Williams has come forward and spoke on his truth and his experience with these set people. Now let's get into the other people. Katt was talking about two of them again. Okay, we just did Rickey, Smiley, and Tyler Perry. Okay, we just popped them. Smiley was the very first in the crossing. Yep, we got that. Okay, now let's get into Steve Harvey. So this is what Katt said about Steve Harvey. He said, Mr. Think Like a Man was riddled with lits and left stretched out on the ground. Perhaps Williams' most shocking claim is that Harvey quit stand-up only after he called out his famous flat top as a man unit during a stand-up routine. Williams also claimed that Harvey stole the idea of his popular sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, from Mark Curry's Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and that Harvey hated on the late Bernie Mac's transition to Hollywood because he wanted to be an actor but didn't have the chops. Whew. That was a lot. That was a lot. So I feel like we need to break all of that down. We need to break all of that down. We absolutely do. So let's start with this. Let's start with things that are actually tangible and things that we can actually prove. Now, I did surviving the 90s and whatnot, and I did one on the Steve Harvey Show, and I did one on Hanging with Mr. Cooper too, which is by Mark Curry, the stand-up Mark Curry. So let's get into that. Mark Curry on making amends. Go away. Amends with Steve Harvey. I'm done with it all. Now, this was done August 16, 2020. Comedian Mark Curry of Hanging with Mr. Cooper fame chopped it up with 50 Bold about some recent headline making moments significantly with fellow comic Steve Harvey. Earlier this year, Mark called out that the TV host and radio personality for allegedly stealing his jokes. As we have previously reported during his appearance on Fox Soul's The Mike and Donnie Show, Curry was asked by host Mike Hill, "What's up with you and Steve, man?" Mark responded, "Steve stole my material on his show, so I had beef on that." The show he was referring to was Harvey's former talk show, Steve, which was canceled for Room for Kelly Clarkson show. When he was on his Bullish talk show that he did all of my Halloween material, Curry added. Somebody called me and said, "Homeboy doing your material. He did your whole Halloween run, and I know he didn't think of it. This was true stuff that happened to me," he continued. And my thing was, you didn't have to do that, homeboy, mother. You made enough money. He added, Curry believes stealing jokes is the most lewd thing a comic can do. He went on to note that he confronted Steve Harvey about the issue at Def Comedy Jam's 25th when Hill asked, "What did you say to him?" Curry responded, "Ask him." According to Curry, Harvey did not apologize. Steve has denied the accusations. Now, this wasn't the only thing that Mark Curry was mad at Steve Harvey about. Back in the day, when Steve Harvey and Mark Curry both had their shows, Mark Curry's show, Hanging with Mr. Coop, came out first. So not only was Steve Harvey stealing Mark's show, which is what Katt Williams said, which is true. He did steal the whole idea. Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper was a teacher and like / coach, you know, and whatnot, but more so of a teacher. That was his whole stance of the show. And then Steve Harvey comes out with the show, The Steve Harvey Show, and he is a band teacher or a music teacher and whatnot, and it's revolving around certain students. Hanging with Mr. Coop, it went from involving his family and this endless relationship with one of his roommates while helping, you know, the young lady that raised them small. So it was pretty much based, and then it went into, as the show went on, as Steve becoming cool with like kids from his school. Mark Curry in the show, Hanging with Mr. Coop. Mr. Coop started, you know, hanging out with so Katt's not lying. That is very true. And Mark Curry called Steve Harvey out on that back in the day. So just like now, when he called him out about him stealing his comedy act for his show, Steve, he did the same thing back then. The same exact thing. So he's not lying. It's true. Steve Harvey was stealing Mark Curry's jokes, and not only was he stealing Mark Curry's jokes, he had been stealing his show ideas, all of that stuff. So that's not a lie. That is absolute fact. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. Over 2,100 people in the building, please hit the like. Now, it's also Katt stated that Steve Harvey was jealous of Bernie Mac and tried to stunt Bernie Mac's career, which Cedric the Entertainer, hold on, we'll get into that. But before that, let's get into Cedric admitting this on the same show on Club Shay about how Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey did not get along at all. Where is that? Right here. Cedric the Entertainer confirms Steve Harvey Bernie Mac beef prevented another tour. Now, as y'all all remember, the Kings of Comedy tour, which was a stellar tour, it was supposed to be pretty much at that time back in the day just Steve Harvey. And then Steve Harvey, instead of certain people like D.L. Hughley and all of them becoming opening acts, they all just became a part of the show. The problem with the Kings of the Comedy tour is that Bernie Mac stole the show. Bernie Mac stole the show. Bernie Mac, literally everybody, people would even when it came out on like VHS or DVD or whatever, we would fast forward it to Bernie Mac. Most families would sit around and wait for Bernie Mac. Milk and cookies, all that stole it. It was over. And Steve Harvey could not take it. He could not take it. That they came for Bernie. And during those shows, if you listen to the chants in the audience, even when other people were on stage, they were chanting for Bernie. They wanted Bernie. When Bernie was announced, Bernie got the loudest cheer, all of that. So Steve was very so much jealous of that. That is why there was no second tour. Why? Because they wanted Bernie as the main event. Steve wasn't about to sign up for that, so he didn't. So that's why it never happened. It never happened because Bernie stole the show. And not on purpose. He stole the show because he's talented. He was a talented man. God rest his soul. He was extremely talented. That was one of his best stand-ups he ever did. Some of his best work. And he applied it at the right time. Because that Kings of Comedy tour, that was everywhere. And it was everywhere because of Bernie. It wasn't the standout performer, was Bernie Mac. 100%. 100%. D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, Cedric Intern, none of them could hold a candle to Bernie's stand-up. Bernie was incredible. Him just being on stage was enough. He could talk about anything, and we were here for it. And we were here for it. He was amazing. He did that. He absolutely did. So let's get into this article. For years, rumors have circulated that during the time of the original Kings of Comedy tour, there was more tension between Steve Harvey and the late Bernie Mac. Now those rumors are being addressed by Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric, who was part of the tour along with D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, and Bernie Mac, confirmed that the two comedians did not see eye to eye. Bernie's quote, yeah, I mean, you know, they were the kind of guys that they both alpha males, you know, like they both just saw it different. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't. But at the end of the day, they was able to get through it. He said while on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, Club Shay. Cedric added that because of the feud, prevent them from doing another tour. His quote, I think, of course, that was, you know, definitely a contributing circumstance. But I also think it had a lot to do with the promoter on the thing because he got a bigger head than all of us. The dude that put us all together started to really think was about him. So it started to be that. So it was all a lot of those kinds of elements. In 2003, Mac had an interview with GQ magazine where he accused Harvey of being jealous of him and trying to sabotage him for certain movie roles. Steve would go on to address Mac's claims in a 2010 interview and revealed that he was hurt by Mac's words. So Bernie Mac said out of his own mouth that Steve Harvey, was trying to sabotage him. That Steve Harvey was trying to make it so that he was not in certain movies. And Steve, you wanted to be Bosley and all type of stuff. Cut it out. Cut it out. It was plenty of movies that you did not want Bernie Mac to be a part of. Plenty. Because Bernie Mac and Ice Cube worked very well together. Very well together. You even tried to get in on that. Yeah, it was plenty of stuff of Bernie's that you was trying to stop and prevent him from doing. Plenty of stuff. And let's start with the Bernie Mac show. Steve did not want Bernie to have his own show. He did not. Because Milk and Cookies is why Bernie got the Bernie Mac show. The show was based off his stand-up on the Kings of Comedy. Think about his Kings of Comedy. Him talking about raising somebody else's children, his family, all of that stuff. I believe it's a sister, or something like that. And then he's coming out to ask for some milk and cookies. Him and his wife. The whole show is based off of his act, his comedy act. That's how he got the show. His act was that good to where it convinced writers and people that did television to say, let's put a show together for him. Let's take that act and make it a show. And that's what happened. Steve tried to prevent it. Cut it out. That's why the deal happened later. That's why it didn't happen right away, because Steve was putting his foot where it did not belong. That's it. Because Bernie was offered a show. Steve was not. He was not offered the Steve Harvey show. That was his idea. And he put a team of people together and started brushing shoulders with people to get him on a national syndicated show. He was not offered the Steve Harvey show. Bernie Mac was offered that show. That's why it was so successful. Will Smith was offered the first Prince of Bel-Air. That's why it was so successful. So, I mean, it's different. It's different, like 100%. That's it. That's all. The reason Steve's show didn't last longer than why it didn't last as long as it could have, and he wasn't even the star of the show. It was Romeo. God rest Merlin's soul. Romeo and Bullyhead was the reason why the Steve Harvey show was popping. Now, Principal Greer, she helped a little piece. My girl, Wendy Rock, she helped, but overall, people really, we liked Steady Girl more than we liked him. Honestly, like they didn't keep that show afloat. They did not. Romeo and Billy Head saved the Steve Harvey show. They did. 100%. Shout out to Annette. She says, "Hi Sean, I love your commentary. You run up in my head. Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I think there was another one I hate missing them because I feel bad. But yeah, so he couldn't even keep the show up. He couldn't even keep the show afloat. They literally saved the show because that show was tanking. And it was older people that were doing it, and they were trying to captivate an audience of younger people. So you needed younger faces to be able to do as such. So that's why Romeo and Bullethead, they came in and saved the day. They absolutely did, because Romeo wasn't funny alone. He definitely needed Bullethead. Romeo was just good to look at. But him and Bullethead, the puns and jokes that they had, they bounced off of each other. So they and then Lydia, people like that, they came through and saved the show. Otherwise, that show was about to tank. It absolutely was. It was about to tank. So yeah, he's not a standalone talent enough to keep a show like that going. You're not going to hear about a sold out Steve Harvey comedy show and stuff like. No one features him like that. He's not that type of funny. But Katt Williams, he could sell out a show right now. The majority of his tours have been sold out shows, and whatnot. So yeah, he was hating on Bernie Mac. So Steve said, "I was upset at first because it wasn't true. Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together. And then this article in GQ came out and put all of the vicious stuff in there. B said he never said I had to take him at his words for it." I'm confused by that because Bernie said what he said. That was it. He said what he said. And that fakeness, because everybody knew that Bernie and Steve were not fond of each other. Go back and watch the Kings of Comedy. They would be on opposite sides of the room. Like they really wouldn't like embrace each other. Like they really wouldn't. But Bernie and Cedric did a lot of hanging out, and with DL, the other three, but when it came to Bernie and Steve, there was really no words, speak when spoken to. Other than that, they did not like each other, and you could tell that Steve and Bernie had a good relationship. You could tell that Steve and Cedric had a good relationship. You could tell that Bernie and Cedric had a good relationship, and so on. But if you go back and watch and look at the energy between the two, they would avoid each other. When they would take pictures, they would be on the opposite sides. They did not like each other. They did not. And it wasn't because of Bernie. It was because of Steve. Because Cedric had his own problems with Steve. Yeah, see, they was all just fake about it. Bernie was not. And it's the same thing with Katt Williams. Katt Williams would have been the same way. He's not going to be fake about this because y'all want to be. Because y'all want to be all Hollywood. All of that, and use these words to divert and deflect from what's actually going on. Like, no. Bernie, Steve did try to withhold me from projects and movie roles, and I like that. It's like, be honest about it. And Bernie was real. Bernie was like, yeah, no, he tried it. It was plenty of times that I was told this, and that certain people from his team was contacting these people. Yeah, there was times, to where things like that happen. I like that. I like when you can just be real. Doesn't mean you're being vicious because you're being honest. So because Bernie was being honest, of course, Steve is going to take that as being vicious because you're not bowing to him. You're not making it look like I'm a good person. For what? I don't like you. You don't like me. Like, wait, what's the problem? You do you, I do me. What's the issue? We're not going to change it because it's some cameras around. Because it's some people. So that's being real. That's why we loved Bernie. Because Bernie was real. Bernie was going to tell you how it was, whether you liked it or not. That way, loved that about him. Bernie kept it real. He absolutely did. Bernie became Bosley. Bernie became a role made for a white man. Bernie was Bosley on Charlie's Angels. I was so proud of Bernie Mac when he became Bosley. And then doing the Ocean movies, becoming a mainstream. I was so happy for him. I was like, wow, this is amazing. He's getting a lot of. I mean, look at the people that he was in these movies with. These huge Brad Pitts and Bernie with these people. This is incredible. I was so happy for him because it was organic. He was talented. He had put in so much work. He had been grinding for so many years, so he deserved those type of breaks because it was a long road, to get Bernie. Bernie's been in so many movies. So many movies. He was in movies that I didn't even know he was in. I was like, oh my God, that's Bernie Mac. Oh my God. And he was my favorite. Bernie Mac is my all-time. It's a tie between Bernie Mac and John Witherspoon. I just love those two men. They took a part in raising me. Okay. I watched everything them. Okay. I know all of it. I just love them. All right. They're like my dads from my TV dads is how I look at Bernie Mac and John Witherspoon. Two men that I would have loved to have been my father. Like their kids, y'all lucky. Y'all are lucky to have those two men in y'all lives because those were incredible men. So so shout out to y'all. I understand when John Witherspoon kids, when they took it so hard, his son, especially when he passed. I can imagine, because I'm sure he was just such a wonderful dad and so funny, and he just loved his kids. He was always around his kids, did everything for his kids, so yeah, I'm sure that was really hard for them to lose their father. So so let's move along into what Katt said next, because we just gonna keep it real. Katt is not lying with this information that he is coming forward with. So people trying to make it look like, oh, he's stirring the pot, he's making things up. No, if anything, he's just keeping it real. He's just keeping it real. Okay, so we just did, who did we just do? Okay, Steve Harvey. So Faison Love. This is what Katt Williams had to say about Faison Love, which is a comedian. He was Big Perm in the Friday movie, and he was in called 3 Stars. He was in a bunch of stuff, Faison Love, back in the day. So it says, Love mostly known mostly for his supporting roles in several sitcoms and as Big Worm in the original Friday, caught astray when Williams used the phrase "fat Faison liar." Sharpe pointed out the stray, to which Williams responded, Faison said, "Getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0. Gorilla. So, Katt was not pointing out to Miss Scorpio. She said, when Bernie first came out, I went to see him, and all right, he walked on stage, looked at the audience and said, I ain't scared. Shout out to Bernie Mac. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Yeah, shout out to Bernie. We love Bernie down. Shout out to Bernie Mac. So with Faison coming forward, and what him talking about Faison, he's said that Faison is a fat liar. Now, I'm just going to say this, because we're not about to dive deep into Faison Love, because it's honestly not worth it. It really isn't. That would be really boring. I'm going to just pull this up. Let's just talk about this real quick. Because he do lie. He definitely does. Jay-Z responds to Faison Love's claim that he lied about his dealer past. In the summer of 2020, Faison Love accused Jay-Z of lying about his drug dealer past, which sparked an argument between the actor and Cameron. His quote, I like Jay-Z. I like him as a guy and the whole thing he created about this fake dope dealing, said Love then. That's when I stopped liking him. This nigga ain't so no snane in his life. I don't think he's ever won a fight. Okay, now Jay-Z seemed to respond on to Love on Pusha T's new song, Neck and Wrist, produced by Pharrell. Jay-Z says the phase I'm on. So you like Faison? The phase I'm on, Faison. I'm like, okay, look at Jay-Z. Period. So he said, I wouldn't believe it either. I'd be like, Jay-Z's a cheater. I wouldn't listen to Reason either. All I know is he's a felon. How is he selling? Okay. So this is allegedly Jay-Z responding to Faison Love, which I definitely believe is him responding to Faison. Now, Jay-Z has charges of dealing, so that's not a lie. Jay-Z was a dealer back in the day. He was. Now I don't know about no kingpin, and I don't know about all that, but him dealing, he did. He absolutely did. There's charges to prove it. Why would somebody lie about that when they have charges for it? So that was stupid. I'm like, why would you say that Jay-Z's lying about that? He's not. Like, you know, there's an arrest record to prove it. And not only that, so this is just a quick, you know, proof that Faison is a liar. So when Katt Williams is calling him a fat liar, I'm gonna have to agree. And there's many other lies that Faison has came forward with in the past too. So I mean, this is just, you know, some real cute and quick and our girl. So let's get back into who else he talked about, because I want to go down the line. I feel like we done did a good job thus far. Going down the line. Okay, hold on. We got Steve Harvey. We did that. Okay, Earthquake. So Williams said that the comedian Earthquake can't be a famous movie star because he's illiterate. Katt said he can't read. Williams said they found out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Oh my God. Shout out to Denise. She says Faison Love was talking ish about Country Wayne. He is jealous. Yeah, he is. He's very so much jealous and pressed that his career is long gone. The little piece of career that he did have. Memory lane. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Denise. Thank you. So now that's a matter of opinion. I don't know nothing about Earthquake being illiterate. I did look it up. I did not see that. Earthquake is funny. I do like Earthquake. But yeah, I'm moving right along. Kevin Hart. There's been funky blood between Hart and Williams for a while. The famously conjugal Hart called out him during an interview on The Breakfast Club years ago. Now y'all remember this. If y'all don't remember, because The Breakfast Club be tripping. This is when Kevin Hart said, because y'all said that Kevin said that Katt was on drugs. Do y'all remember that? Because, you know, at the beginning of this live, like, you know, Katt wasn't on drugs. Katt wasn't on drugs. Well, Kevin says otherwise. Listen.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You fucked off promo shoots. You fucked off your promo fucking trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped fucking with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian, and these other women have worked hard, which they have.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to Melanie Camacho. Shouts out to Lunel. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Leslie Jones, who are all underneath the umbrella of Katt Williams. Katt Williams, have you ever used your platform to fucking bring the people that were under you up?
Mm.
You haven't. So because you haven't, don't shit on those that now.
Now, this was Kevin trying to defend Tiffany Drunk Haddish. My girl, Tiffany, don't leave your churn around me. Haddish, and I'm a girl. And that's what that word. Now, he was loud and wrong. Okay. Now, again, just like I heard of certain things Katt was doing, apparently Kevin has heard of those things too. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to argue with anybody about their life. If Katt said no, hey, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. But I mean, there are people on loudspeakers saying, you know, these things. So I don't want y'all to feel like I'm saying that Katt Williams is, you know, I'm just saying that was, you know, going around the rumor mill. Girl, I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that's a definite thing or anything like that. No. And so Kevin was sitting here defending Tiffany Drunk Haddish at this point in time because Katt Williams came forward and said that, Tiffany's not funny. And not only is Tiffany not funny, she has exceeded and jumped in front of other female comedians that have been grinding harder and are actually funny. That is true. That is what a lot of comedians do not get about somebody like Katt Williams. Although I wouldn't want Katt to be as cocky as he is, because he can come off as very cocky, being and judgmental, being in the position that he is. But the thing about Katt and why these people respond to Katt is because Katt is a real comedian. Katt is actually funny. He is extremely talented. So a voice like his is going to be heard. That's why this interview went viral, because speaking on the topics that he's speaking out on and the people being in the, in the spotlight that are in the spotlight right now, and Katt Williams coming forward, being connected to the majority of these people, and whatnot. Katt's, he's the real deal. So you can't not acknowledge what he's saying when he is the front runner and the things that you are doing. Katt Williams gets under Kevin Hart's skin because Katt Williams is actually funny. Katt Williams is everything Kevin Hart will never be, which is original, real, and authentic. He will never be those things. It doesn't matter that a person has had that they, make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. No one is perfect. So no one is expecting Katt to be perfect. No one's expecting that out of Kevin either, and nobody else, because Katt may have dropped the ball, when he had first came out, and he was the go-to guy. He was the go-to guy and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff he declined, and a lot of the stuff due to certain behaviors, people turned away from. So it's not like Katt has not been responsible for those things and not admitted that there were times that, I probably should have did this and I probably shouldn't did that. But at this, I'm glad I didn't do this and I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't work with this person. I'm glad I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. He's entitled to all of those things. And because Kevin drank the Kool-Aid, and because Kevin don't have a backbone, and because Kevin want everybody to think that he perfect, and whatnot, he's willing to go around and be basic. Katt was not willing to do those things. Katt's not willing to be basic and bend over and do what these people, you have to have limits. And Katt has limits. And since he did, Kevin feels like he get to come forward and be like, you were that guy. You dropped this, you dropped that. When are you going to stop blaming everybody and blaming yourself? When are you going to stop doing that? And when are you going to stop doing that? When are you going to stop doing that? Because Katt Williams does not do that. Katt Williams pushes forward. Katt Williams ain't live on doing shows and whatnot and interviews about why Hollywood left him behind and why he ain't getting roles like Kevin Hart and why he ain't here, why he ain't live doing none of that stuff. Katt is working, and I'm a girl. Katt is still touring. Katt is still doing stand-up specials. Katt is still a fucking comedian. What are you? What are you? Katt still has his integrity, his backbone. He still have all of those things. He didn't bend and mend and become everything that he wasn't. Fall for things that he knows he shouldn't fall for just to be where you are, and you unhappy where you at. You fucking miserable, Kevin. Girl. You're miserable. You did all of that to be miserable. You talking about he dropped the ball. You dropped the ball too. Didn't you just get into a car accident cheating on your wife? How many contracts did you have to do certain movies and be on set productions and all of that? And you had to push the majority of that stuff back. The majority of it got canceled. You got replaced. All of that stuff because you was out drinking and driving. Cheating on your wife so bad that you're doing it on camera and wanting to be recorded. But your friend's trying to blackmail you. The sin ain't in the sex tape. It's in the him trying to blackmail me. Taking no accountability. For if you weren't doing what you were doing, this wouldn't be in existence. The person can blackmail you for not doing this. He's only been able to do allegedly, which he didn't blackmail him. You know, so I mean, it's just you're worried about the wrong things. So because you converted to the ways of Hollywood, you see Kevin, you see all this stuff going on with Diddy and how Kevin ain't involved. I mean, and Katt ain't involved in none of it. But people like you, TD Jakes, and on and so forth, so many people like you are. See, that's what happens. Like Katt said, sometimes you just got to tell people no. He told Diddy no, so you best believe any allegation or anything that comes up, Katt name ain't gonna pop up. Because he know how to tell people no. You do anything. You do it all. You don't have a no. Your only no is I won't play a gay role, but you'll put on a dress. What's that, hetero? Okay. That's hetero? Or I'm confused. Asking for a friend. Asking for a gay friend. Because he's being ridiculed and over here at school and stuff for wearing a dress, but you get to wear one and it's completely fine. Totes not gay. But when he does it, it is. Pick a team. Stay on it. That doesn't make any sense. Your only no is I don't want to play a gay guy. I don't want to kiss another dude. Although you and The Rock y'all basically kissed. So I'm just like, you don't have a no. You don't. So because Katt did, well, that's why he don't have the trouble that you have. That's why he don't have the restrictions you have. That's why he's not under the pressure you're under. Y'all under two different pressures. Yeah, it's not a pressure for him to get on the stage and rock a mic. That's pressure for you. I bet you it gives you anxiety walking up to a microphone because you lost your way a long time ago. You lost your way. Katt never did. This is why he can get in front of that microphone and rock the house. Because he didn't lose his way. He didn't forget who he was. You did. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know who you are. You tried it. But that's all we needed to hear from that. That's because that's all we needed was a little piece because the Breakfast Club be tripping. All we needed was a little piece. Let's keep going. So y'all remember him saying that he said that the man was on and all of that stuff. Okay, so here's okay. So Williams came at Hart's entire origin story, suggesting that he was an industry plant because Hart found immediate success in Hollywood following a move from the East Coast. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. True. There being a line for him getting a standing ovation at any comedy nightclub, Williams said. He already had his deals when he got here. What do you think a plant is? So basically him saying, like, what do you think a plant is? A plant is something, you know, a seed that will eventually grow. So that's what he was. He was a seed. Put him out there, see, like what he put him in stuff like Soul Plane, stuff like that. Let's see how the audience, you know, then the audience was receptive. So since the audience is receptive, okay, let's really boost and push him. So a lot of his comedy shows, people are like, oh, Kevin had a huge comedy show. No, they put Kevin as a stand-up star, not him actually being one. A true comedian sells out clubs, arenas. They do that. They absolutely do. 100%. And standing ovation, those are huge. If you get a standing, oh yeah, you know you did the thing. Shout out to Candace for becoming a member. You know you did the thing, just like Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac got standing O's during his comedy shows, during the Kings of Comedy tour. He got standing O's pretty much every single time he would end. And so that's big. Steve wasn't getting those, you know, Cedric wasn't getting that. Nobody getting them a Bernie, you know, so that's big when you're on a tour with other, because people are definitely going to compare. They're definitely going to compare. Like all these people signing up when he did, but they're not going to, you know, they're going to compare. So that's what will happen. None of these things have ever happened for Kevin. So Kevin was a plant. Kevin does not want y'all to know that. He doesn't want y'all to know that he was planted, meaning other comedians grind before that spotlight is put on top of their head. He came out with the spotlight on his head, is what Katt is saying. Everybody else had to work. The Eddie Murphys and the Dave Chappelles and the Richard Pryors and the John Witherspoons and the Bernie Macs, and they all had to work They put in work, okay, before making it to the next level, making it to a level that Kevin Hart pretty much came out in. So you're a plant. They're using you, and you know that they're using you, and you're allowing it. You're allowing yourself to be used 100%. And you want people to think that you're organically funny. That no, I got here because no, you got here because you were planted. And you can tell plants. You can tell because they're they're overwhelming. Their presence is overwhelming. When Kevin, pretty much, he was in everything. He was doing he did like 7 movies in 1 year. So it was too oversaturated. It was that's when you know, because it's like, how are you getting all of the like? How are you getting all this? Okay, you have one successful stand-up show, which a lot of those jokes you stole from your ex-wife. A lot of those jokes in his first 2 stand-ups that he did about his family, he stole from his wife. Tori Hart, his ex-wife, is a comedian too. He stole those jokes from her. Men are more receptive in the comedy lane. When it comes to comedy, men are put on a definitely placed higher up, than women. Men comics make it further than women. It's just it's how it's always been. It's how it's always been. That's why I shout out to people like Kevin Hart. Katt Williams, I would take people like Lunel and other really funny women out on tour with him. I appreciated that because he knew, like, y'all are actually talented. Y'all just need a bigger scale. Y'all just need to be put on a bigger scale. So shout out to him for doing that. So, and their heart just isn't in it. That's how you can tell a comedian plant too, because their heart isn't in it. Your heart being in it is you doing stand-up, because that's where it comes from. That's really where your bread and butter is going to come from, because that's how you tour and all of that stuff. When you are more so worried about being in movies and things like that, that means that you are moving away from the stand-up world. Katt has never done that. Even while doing movies, he would still do stand-up because that's where the true talent is. He is really funny. A lot of these people say funny things and aren't funny people. So somebody like Kevin Hart, he'll say funny things. That video with him and Diddy, and Diddy was like, you don't have to do it, blah, blah, blah. Then Kevin's like, I didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. I didn't have to. So that's not like, oh my God, you're so funny. Like, it's not. It's some people gonna find that funny and some people are not. But Kevin Hart's comedy has always been more geared towards white people. That's how you could tell he's a plant as well. Your energy has always been like geared towards like white people. It's never really, you being black is what made black people come, because we were just, oh, okay, it's just like, okay, let's do that. And we laugh, we giggle, but then you hear somebody like Kevin Hart versus Katt Williams, the laughter is different because how you're relating is completely different. We don't relate to Kevin how we relate to Katt, because Katt gives real. Katt gives us authentic. Katt gives us what you see is what you get. Kevin, you don't know. Is he up here doing, did somebody else write this whole comedy show for him? Or, with Katt, it's all coming from him. All original. Kevin, who knows? Because a person like him, so Hollywood got writers and, and all of this other stuff. So a lot of the things that you hear, it's hard to relate to because it's not really for us. But with Katt, you relate every time because he does it for the people. But let's keep going. So Kevin Hart, he already had deals when he got here. What the plan is. Do we have any tea on that? Let me see. Let me look and see. Do we have any tea on that? Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Because we're gonna have to do a part 2 because he went over so much stuff. And I'm glad he went over his life too, because that was so much necessary. So yeah, let's get into Kevin Hart responding to Katt Williams, because Kevin had to say something. Let's get into that. Where is that? All right. So Kevin Hart and Michael Blackson. Well, we'll get into Michael Blackson, but let's get into Kevin Hart first. So on Wednesday, January 3rd, Katt Williams set the internet on fire during his appearance on Club Shay, where he made scathing comments about several of his comedic peers. As one of those on the receiving end, Michael Blackson quickly took to Twitter to share his reaction to the vitriol. We're not reading that. Let's get into what Kevin said. This morning, Kevin Hart decided to jump in the conversation while using the opportunity to promote his upcoming film. Kevin says, "Gotta get that anger up out you, champ. It's honestly sad. The Philly Star tweeted, in the meantime, please enjoy my movie trailer to my next film." Yeah, man, it's none of that. So here's the thing. Kevin. I don't think it has anything to do with anger. I think it has everything to do with truth. And I don't think you like truth. I don't think you like that. I don't think you like that. I think you want people to be basic and kiss your arse like somebody owe you something. Like, if anything, Katt is a pioneer that helped you get through the door, shorty. He helped you get through the door. So don't nobody owe you nothing but Tiffany Haddish, and look how she's repaying you. Shout out to Nessa Girl. Thank you for stopping through. Shout out to you. Thanks for the super sticker. So the only person that owe you something is Tiffany. And look how she's repaying you. Drinking and driving like you. Yeah, you got to stop acting like you were pre-Katt Williams. You're not. You're not. You're not before Katt. You're after Katt. Okay? Yeah. Get that through your skull. Don't ever forget that there would be no you if they weren't looking for a replacement for Katt. I'm going to need that to sit with you. I'm going to need that to sit with you. Okay? Absolutely. Because no matter how relevant you think you are, no matter how big you think you are, your name is still next to Katt's in 2024. And you've done way more than Katt. Yeah. So don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever feel like your bank account back then, not now, back then, because that's what you felt. Your bank account trumped Katt. So since I got more money than you, I'm better than you. You're not. No. 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 You see how Jay-Z has more money than Beyonce? But is he more talented than her? He may have more money. He hit a billionaire status before she did. He did. But he's not more talented than her. Because Jay-Z didn't make those billions off of music. Fact. Out of all of the businesses that he established throughout his career and connections that he made. So it's the same thing with Katt and Kevin. Just because you've accumulated more money than Katt does not mean that you are more talented than him. Because Jay-Z is not more relevant than Beyonce. Just like Kevin Hart isn't more relevant than Katt Williams. There is no shadow. And if there is, Kevin, you need to realize that Katt is casting it. If there's a shadow, you're it. You're in the shadow. You're not casting the shadow. Kevin, you're not the sun, their player. You're not. So that's your problem with Katt, that he is going to be a constant reminder of a real comedian, your alleged job title. Because how you got your money was not being a comedian. Mm-mm. No, it was more so through doing brand deals, and other things that you were connecting yourself to. You didn't become in millionaire status because you were a traveling comedian going around selling out. No, that's not you. That's not your lifestyle. Not at all. Mm-mm. And I think that bothers you. That, Katt won't go away. Because he's a constant reminder of you're not funny. Because you could never do a show after him. You could never. You would be better off going before him. Now, let's get into what Katt said about Michael Blackson before we get into Michael Blackson. Well, Blackson. How's that? Blackson, nigga. The one who was in The Next Friday and among other things. Let's get into what Katt had to say about him, because this was tea as well. So, here's it. Oh, sorry. There we go. Now let's get into what he said about Michael Blackson right here. Williams let off a quick round towards Michael Blackson when Sharpe asked him if he ever were booed. Most comedians don't get booed enough. That's how you end up with Michael Blackson, who is a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay. Williams said before insisting that Blackson has stayed mad at him for years because he told him to stop dressing in dirty dashikis. Blackson responded immediately. Okay. Blackson said Katt Williams is a very smart Miji nigga. He took shots at the top 10 comedians alive today, so we can all respond and make him relevant again. Now, again, I would have to disagree with that as well, Michael Blackson, because don't nobody like you. And you're ugly. Michael, no one is checking for you and your Uggs. Like, you have always been ugly. Like, for real. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, you ugly. And nobody likes you and nobody checking for you. Katt just made you relevant because when nobody talking about Michael Blackson, because that has always been weird to me. I'm like, how are you African, but your accent don't sound like you have an accent. It don't sound like you speak that way. Like, and then you base your whole life, basically, your whole, I'm just a bitch ass nigga. You place your whole, comedy stance on being African, and I'm not even gonna say that. You walk around as a stereotypical African. How disrespectful. Michael Blackson, your whole career, disrespectful. Honestly, your whole career is you going around being African while playing stereotypes of set people. The way you talk, all of that. Like, that's up. So I'm like, yeah, you should be the last person saying anything. You still do it to this day. No one has been more disrespectful to the African race than you. You're like mad disrespectful. Literally. Do you not get that? It's like you're an ongoing skit, like how Dave Chappelle used to do skits about, the KKK and stuff like that. It would stop though. Tyrone Biggums, that would stop, and then he would go. You're just the skit that just never stopped. That's what you give, and pretty much like every role that you take on the stereotypical African guy. Like, and you haven't had many of those. So, yeah, I don't feel like Katt's trying to make himself relevant. He is. You're always and featuring and guest starring. No, Katt is Katt Williams, and then it's Ann Presents. Katt Williams is a headliner. You're not a headliner. You've been an opening act your whole life. You've been an opening act your whole life. Is an opening act really trying to say that a headliner is trying to make them sing? You get out there and use them 78 seconds that you got to try to make people laugh, bitch. It's like, Michael, shut the fuck up. Nobody's checking for you. Ain't you just a bitch ass nigga? Like, I said, not the guy known for calling himself a bitch. Okay. Not this guy. Not this guy. Okay, girl. Not this guy. You got people like Akon and so many others that done at least tried bring electricity, different water sources, and all that type of stuff to Africa. All he wants to bring Africa is a bad reputation. All he brought Africa was stereotypes. That's it. Yeah. But the headliners. Okay. Alrighty. Not the opening act. Not the opening act. I wish I would go read what he had to say. And let's get into what Katt said about Chris Tucker. When Sharpe asked Williams if he ever do another Friday film, Williams said Ice Cube asked him to write it and suggested that any new film couldn't replicate the magic of the first because the passing of John Witherspoon. No. Rest in peace. And the fact that today's Chris Tucker is not the Tucker 30 years ago. True. The Chris Tucker we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Katt, no. Katt, no. Andy, no. Oh, Lord, Katt. So he said in reference to the fact that Tucker's name is on the recently unsealed Jeffrey Epstein files. Also claimed that Tucker never wanted to be the poster child for Smoking Green because he was a church boy. He also said that Tucker was pals with Michael Jackson, who called him Christmas. Why, Katt? Why? Okay. Katt, stop it. So he said, ever met a man gave you a little nickname like that? Williams asked Sharpe. Me neither. I cannot. So now allegedly Chris Tucker's name is on the Epstein list. I'm going to be reading the list this week. I just want to make sure that it's the right list because I keep hearing that the real list is not out yet, that it's supposed to be coming out sometime this month. And then I keep hearing it's supposed to drop next month. And then I'm hearing that it then dropped. It's like, bro, it's way too much. So I do agree that the Chris Tucker now is not the Chris Tucker from 30 years ago. True. So Chris Tucker is not nearly as funny as he was years ago. Shout out to I'm Just. She says he's not lying about Chris and Epstein. No, he's not. I mean, we'll see. I don't know, because this list, they say that it's real, and then I hear that it's not. So we'll see. Until I see the finalized list that the judge that's on the case say, in it, then I'll be like, okay, cool. This is the list. But there's still people, even women that are on the list coming forward, still requesting for their name not to be on it. So I don't understand how a list could be out if there are still people coming forward requesting that their names be either removed or them listed as Jane or John Doe. So I'm confused by that. It's like, how are people reading a list that people are still being excluded from by the judge? So that means that the judge ain't put the list out is what I'm getting. So I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. As far as I'm concerned, until it's proven that the actual real list is out, because I've been hearing the list been out since last year, since November, December last year, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. We'll see. As far as I'm concerned, the real list ain't out there yet. But let's keep going. So Cedric the Entertainer, one of the dozens plus names Williams drops unfavorably, his beef with said feels most personal. Okay. Sharpe said on a previous Club Shay episode if he stole one of Williams' jokes, a claim he denied. Williams laid out his whole side of the story, insisting that said closed his original Kings of Comedy routine with a barely altered version of his biggest joke. He thought I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know, Williams said. So on part 2, because we're at our 2-hour mark, I set up because it's a lot of information. So I'm like, I will go live for at least 2 hours. So on part 2, we will get into the history of Cedric the Entertainer and Katt Williams. There's a lot of tea on this situation too. And so, but I'm gonna cut it right here for now because I don't like my lives being super long. For the people watching the playbacks, I like to, because even 2 hours is like a bow. But we will come back, okay, and do a part 2 because there is a lot of information to this. And y'all know I love Katt Williams. I could talk about Katt Williams all day. I adore him. So when you coming back, I don't know. It's only 5 my time. So I mean, we could come back tonight. We could come back, you never know, maybe in like 2 hours. Or so, you never know, pop back away and do a part 2, but I like to separate them. I don't like them too long because, yeah. So, but we will do a part 2 of this. We absolutely will. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody that super chatted and hit the like button and sent super stickers and became members and people that gifted memberships. Thank you all so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you all so much. But we will be back. Y'all know I have plenty of tea on this situation. I do my research. So yeah, so I love you guys. So we will be back. But until then, thank you so much.